Reporting live from Hyper's Club in Atlanta, 5 Plus News, I'm John Ott. ICE and other federal agents are currently in Chicago to fight against crime and immigration on behalf of President Trump's latest push to clean up cities across the country. Now, at the top of September, we reported Trump's threats to send in the National Guard to Chicago, only to be met with pushback from city officials and warnings from some of their residents that gangs in Chicago would not be an easy fight. Now, part of Operation Midway Blitz, ICE and other agents have begun sweeping through Chicago, which has now raised concerns of Black Chicago residents and others on who ICE is targeting. Just 2 nights ago, close to 300 armed agents would raid an apartment complex in a Black neighborhood at 2 in the morning. According to reports, the raid was expected to focus on potential Venezuelan immigrants and gang members, but would end up disrupting the lives of Black residents and children during the night.
Shows the chaotic scene overnight. Neighbors tell us there were dozens of ICE agents.
One of the Black American residents whose door was kicked in and was detained would share what he experienced, sharing that he was put into a van with others after assuming agents had the wrong home. While speaking to local outlet Block Cup Chicago, the man would go on to reveal, "They didn't tell me why I was being detained." Another Black Chicago resident who was also detained will go on to tell local news about the moment she was grabbed by ICE.
It was scary because I've never had a gun put in my face. They asked my name and my date of birth and asked me did I have any warrants, and I told them no.
She says she was then handcuffed and released around 3 a.m.
Upon this report now circulating online, many fellow Black Americans are speaking out about what they're hearing coming out of Chicago, some even fearing that they could be next. Several would take to TikTok and social media to respond.
Y'all, few Black people that were so happy about them going after the Hispanic people. I told y'all when this first started, we were next.
So I made a video a few months back, and all in my comments, people were telling me this ain't got nothing to do with African American people, this ain't got nothing to do with Black people, they only rounding up the Mexicans, so on and so forth. And I kept saying, this is going to roll over into our communities, this is going to affect us in some way, shape, or form. Like, stop being so naive to make it seem like they're just targeting one group of people, because that's not the case. And then what happens in Chicago? In the middle of the night, they detain, ICE detained for several hours African American people, and not just adults, children as well. Children as well. They are detaining and then asking questions later.
In case you ain't know, them folks done ran up into an apartment complex in the middle of Chicago, and regardless of how them folks spoke, regardless of where they said they was from, regardless of how they appeared, they got thrown into a van and sent in for questioning. Some folks didn't get out until 3 a.m. and that's for the older elderly women. That means that is an illegal search. That is an illegal arrest, going into your property, search and seizure, and then sending you in for questioning. And if you had a warrant out for your arrest, you're not getting sent back. That is not normal. That is not okay.
Now, over on X, one user would share a message to help fellow Chicago residents defend themselves against ICE.
I am super excited to go shopping for some new fall clothes. I saw that UGG has like some really cute shoes out right now, and I am super excited. I think that they would look better with like some baggy jeans, you know, like the kind that like Taylor Swift and Cardi B wear, and then like maybe a cute little crop top, a crop, you know, sweater or something. TJ Maxx, Marshalls, maybe Macy's, see what I can find, because you know, it's getting cold out here in these streets.
While another user on X would encourage more people to talk about this latest raid and Black people being detained. ICE is kidnapping Black people in Chicago, and silence is violence, so effing say something. A part of the news circulating on ICE in Chicago, a video has now surfaced showing a Black man being choked by an agent in broad daylight, adding to more concerns of Black Americans now being targeted as well. According to reports, the man was detained due to a possible connection to a robbery. Now, outside of the growing concerns of Black Chicago residents, not everyone appears to be upset about the recent ICE presence in Chicago. A video is now making the rounds online showing 2 older white women thanking agents during a patrol, in which one of the agents can be heard, "We work for you." So let's talk about it more in the comments below. Should Black people be concerned about ICE raids in Chicago and other cities? Save the day for the latest news and comedy, culture, and sports by subscribing here to our YouTube channel. And if you enjoy content like this, check out hypersclub.com to get a membership to watch full interviews and more original content. And of course, if you have a story you think we should cover, send us a message now at hypealerts.com. Reporting live from Hypers Club in Atlanta for Hype Plus News, I'm YAHAWAH.
Trump federalizing troops in Illinois. Jacob's trouble is here. I want to give all the honor, glory, and praises to the Most High Yahawah and His only begotten Son, YAHAWASHI, whom the world ignorantly called Jesus. Double honors to the elders at Great Millstone, taught me this truth through the Spirit. Single honors to the elect. Peace and blessings to the 1/3 and confusion the faces in the four corners of the earth. Shalom. 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And we're not ignorant of what Esau is doing. Because remember, they started with Northern Kingdom. And then they started with all the other with all the heathens, I should say. What I mean. They started with the heathens. Now they're going after pretty much Judah. But this is the Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom once again being oppressed together. Now Esau Edom, he does no good to himself. So whom you think he would do good to? And the thing is, when they ran up in this apartment complex, there were Jakes in there. That's not to say that there weren't heathens in there, or in Esau's eyes, illegals. But you had Jakes who were United States citizens, and they got drug out, questioned, then they got released. They said they were bringing out children naked. They said some of the older women were released. Some of the older citizens, I should say, were released last and everything. You seen the video in the beginning. And what did that one ICE agent say to them Edomite women when she was talking to them and trying to touch their hands? He pointed and said, I work for you. I work for you. So when Esau don't be on these airways talking about what have you contributed to society, what are you doing? When you got individuals like that saying that he work for them, whenever you see that protect and serve on the side of their vehicles, and these police officers, they talking about protecting and serving their own fucking people. ICE ain't no different, because these are the same individuals that came from the slave patrol. That's what the slave patrol was created. The slave patrol was created after the Emancipation Proclamation. Because we had our own enclaves, our own cities, right? I'm here in Florida, Rosewood, and Alabama. You had Sweet Albany. You know, you had Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and in Chicago you had they had another residence there too. I forgot. Salaki, forgive me. But the point of the matter is, after that, they had the slave patrol coming after us, always antagonizing us, always trying to constantly suppress us. And you see the way they act when they ran up in, like I said, Esau's a fucking coward, man. 300 fucking ICE agents gonna run up in the apartment complex full of men, women, and children, late night, in their sleep, vulnerable. Esau's a coward, man. I told you that. Esau is a fucking coward. They have to ambush you, right? But this is Jacob's trouble. This is Genesis chapter 49, verse 9 to 10. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who will rouse him up? What's going to get Jake to rise up? Because when this was happening in Northern Kingdom, I spoke on it a little bit, but I didn't speak on it a lot. Because it's like, Jake, what make you think that you're going to be exempt? You got to understand the dog whistles. Chicago, Chicago, Chicago. Every time you hear Chicago, 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 all I think about is black on black crime. All I think about is gang violence. That's propaganda. You keep pushing something far enough, people are going to continue to they're going to continue to believe the lie. Gang violence, how come every time there's a holiday, we always end up getting shot? Multiple of us getting shot and killed. But you can never find no fucking camera footage, right? Charlie Kirk, boom. hitting the net. They had all kind of footage of him when he was going into the woods and the trail he was on. All that footage they got, and nobody knew anything about everything that's going on in Chicago. Ain't nobody got no footage, no evidence. Same thing with the Jake that got hung in Mississippi with the homeless Edomite. It was a suicide, but y'all ain't got no evidence. That's why Colin Kaepernick pretty much is pretty much spending his own money to help them find out what happened, what's going on. Y'all, we under attack. You got to remember though. But it says the scourges and stripes are for the, what they call it, the scorners, and for fools. And you got Jake talking about something, man, we got switches for Trump. We got switches for Trump. And you Jakes that's in the military that's laughing at your own people, like you a fucking sellout. You a pussy, man. You gonna join a army that's oppressing all the poor people around the world, mainly all the poor melanated people around the world, and you join them and you big up. That's why the scripture speaks about haters of their own people. Now the National Guard is not it's not like the army. It's still the military though, but it's not like the army. They don't have the weaponry like that they would have for the army. But don't get it twisted. These people are trained to kill too. And your National Guard is like your everyday people that you see all the time. They just get called and deployed when there's a threat domestically. So now you're saying you want the National Guard to go up against your own United States citizens? Not every person that's in the military, in the police force, and also in your National Guard is going to want to go against their own citizens. You're going to have in-house fighting. But when it comes to Esau, they down for it. They ready for it. I mean, that's the blessing, the sword. It's the Jakes, the Judahites, man, who gonna be conflicted in their own mind. Remember, y'all. Remember, there was one Jake that was a police officer in California. I think his name was Christopher Dorner, if I'm not mistaken. And he saw all the injustices that was going on. And he pretty much tried to, speak against them. But he pretty much got, blackballed. So then he went on a shooting spree. One man, he was ex-military, y'all, but he was a police officer at that moment. One man had them so shook that when that man hunkered down in that house to take them out, they burned the whole house down. That was just one military veteran, and he was a black man, had the whole police force shook. The reason why I'm speaking like this, don't forget about the DC sniper. That was a Jake and his son. Had everybody in DC shook. The reason why I'm saying this, 60% of America's military is minorities. I'm going to say it again. 60% of America's military are minorities. There's more of us in your military than there are of you. This is not going to be an easy battle for you. Even with them Jakes shooting and fighting against the National Guard, if it does happen, they still don't want casualties on their side, because then somebody gonna have to marry their son and their daughter too. But this is the thing y'all gotta understand. Yeah, they sent 300 troops in the dead of night when no one's, up really. Man, the entire city, how the hell they gonna have National Guard go against the entire city though? Right? This civil war has begun, people. They're doing the same thing up in Portland. Right? This is Isaiah chapter 59, verse 19. So shall they fear the name of Yahawah from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood. All right. The Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. And the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgression in Jacob, saith Yahawah. So those who turn from transgression in Jacob, the Redeemer is going to come and save them. So when you see all this happening, of course you get upset, because you see Esau wicked ass harassing your people. But then you always got to remember, 2/3 said, let Yahawashah's blood be upon them and their children. That's why at the end of this verse in Isaiah 59 and 19, it says, and the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgression. That turns from transgression. All right? That's the elect. The 1/3, 144,000. Remember, the Lord gonna give the angels charge over us. Remember that, y'all. So we ain't got nothing to worry about the elect, even though we gonna be in the midst of all of this. Cause who's to say a brother wasn't in that building? We don't know. I'm just saying in general, but I'm just saying, or in that vicinity, in that area, in that district. You know, so we gonna be in the midst of all of this. But the Lord said, "The evil shall not come nigh thee." Remember that, y'all. So this is St. John chapter 17, verse 14. I have given them thy word, and the world hath hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world, but that thou shouldest keep them from the evil. They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth. The point is, the Lord said, I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world, but that thou shouldest keep them from the evil. That's what it is. All right, we not of this world, meaning that the things that remember the scripture says, mark the men that sign cry for the abominations thereof. That's what I mean by we're not a part of this world. We don't, June, Pride Month, no, we don't care about that. Christmas, we don't celebrate that. What's going on in Israel and Gaza, we keep an eye on it because that's our land. But we're not putting up no flags for Palestine and all the other kind of stuff. Who the hell put up a flag for us? Who the hell came and redeemed? Remember, the Lord said, no one shall buy thee in Deuteronomy 28:68, talking about going to slavery on ships. And the word buy thee means save thee. Nobody came to our aid ever since the Emancipation and Proclamation, ever since the inception. How the hell you have slavery for centuries and you have all this inventory of all these goods and ain't nobody buying it? No, the whole world was buying it. The whole world was in on it. That's why we say the hell to it with America. It was built off of rape, rob, and murder. And Esau walk around proudly like that with his head. That's how you know who the wicked is of the society of this world, man. Every continent you have gone to, Esau, you have obliterated almost 80 to 85% of the indigenous people, which means people who are melanated. Nonetheless, we gotta just keep going. Esau ain't gonna stop until the Lord come back. So what does that mean? We can't stop till YAHAWASHI come back. He that taketh his hand from off the plow is not fit for the kingdom of heaven. All right. So with that being said, I truly pray y'all was edified, fed, stay in the spirit, don't fear it, just endure it. Ask for forgiveness, pray without ceasing, stay humble, remain diligent. Mashallah, Shalom.